Okay, hi, welcome back, everyone. Hope you got a nice long break, and we apologize for the technical difficulties that we had in the morning earlier. And I'm happy to see that 31 of you were able to log in and make your account or make your folder in the shared storage folder. So what happened earlier, and why do we need to talk about it? Well, first of all, why we need to talk about it is because things happen in life, and this is one of those things that happen in life, especially when you go to a workshop and obviously you have to present something computational, something has to fail. One. Two, what happened? So this room currently has two routers, and people in the back are connected to the back router, and people in the front are connected to the front router. All of these connections are going out at the same time. The server in the US is reading these connections one by one, and it's timing them out as they come. Because all of a sudden you have all of these connections, and the server in the US is like, too many connections. We're doing this one by one. This is not going to work. We're going to break the pipe. We're going to break the connection. We are not going to make this work anymore. But there is a workaround for this. Because all of the connections going out of here were going through the same pathway, we decided to, a group of us decided to diversify this pathway such that there will be multiple connections going to the server from a different IP address. And how do you do that? I shared this in the Slack earlier. You should be able to connect to the server using a VPN. If you do have access to a VPN, please do use that VPN for now. If you do not have access to a VPN, please download Proton VPN. It has a 30-day free trial account. You can create an account for free and just download it, connect to an American server, and once it is connected, do SSH from there. Since I sent this message over the break, I saw many people doing things on their computer. Can you please raise your hand if you were able to download Proton VPN and connect to the SSH, or use your own VPN to connect to SSH? Yay! Okay, very happy for you all. Very happy that you were able to get connected. People that were not able to connect, did you download the VPN? Silence. You downloaded VPN. Okay, fantastic. Did you connect to a server in the US? Were you able to SSH? Well, if you didn't download the VPN, then that is something that I can't ask. But if you were able to create your folders in here, great. Before I wanted to go to the next part, I wanted to say that not everyone needs to have a folder in here. Not everybody needs to connect to this specific cluster machines, this specific supercomputer, simply because many of you do have access to your own computers and your own virtual machines, your own supercomputers back home. However, there are some programs that the instructors throughout the workshops will require you to use. The reason why we wanted you to connect to the virtual machines is because all of these programs are already installed and you won't have to go through the pains of installing them on your own cluster. In case you do not want to use the virtual machines and want to use your own clusters, I have written, if I find it, I have written the list of software that the whole list of software that you're going to be using, and how I install them on my own on the virtual machine. So please, if you want to use a different system, I have now sent the list and the instructions to Slack. Feel free to follow the instructions that I have written. If not, it's completely fine. How many of you are connected right now to the server? Okay. The next step that I wanted to talk to you about is transferring data. SSH, Secure Shell, allows us to connect to a server and work within the server itself. This is great if you already have data in the server. This is great if you're just going to get data within the server. But what if you have data within your computer that you want to go put in the server, or you have data in the server that you want to put on your computer? So in order to move data between your computer and the server itself, the virtual machines, we are going to use something called SFTP, Secure Shell Transfer Protocol. In order to connect through SFTP, you will have to open a new terminal window. And very similar to what we did before in order to connect to our virtual machines, we will type in a command, and this time the command is going to be SFTP, your username, just a second. Username at your IP address. So this is not SSH, this is SFTP. You're going to click return, and it's going to ask you again for your password. This time, you shouldn't be asked for authentication since you have already been asked to authenticate earlier. And you're going to use the same password as before and click enter. And now you are in your SFTP mode. SFTP is a bit tricky to get around because you don't, it's not as intuitive as SSH. And for example, if you do ls, you can't go back up, or you can't autocomplete. If you do, for example, cd, it doesn't autocomplete. Usually you can do autocompletion by using the tab function, but SFTP doesn't allow you to do that. On top of that, SFTP, it only shows the files in the server side and not the files on your computer. Therefore, you should also have perhaps another terminal open where you can see the files on your computer. So, what if I want to transfer a file from my own computer to the server? I will do cd. I will go to cd data. And I know that at this point, my folder is mcosi, so I just do cd/data/mcosi. I can do ls again. And well, I already have a folder in there that I can remove. I'm going to remove it from the SSH side. I'm going to do cd and mcosi. And I'm going to remove the folder that I have in there, just so that I can show you how to transfer a folder as well. Okay. So back in SFTP, I do ls again, and this time around, you can see that I do not have a folder in there. Now, how do I put in a folder from my computer to the to the server? Well, it's very simple. You use put, put, and the name of the file after put. You do not have to do this since you might not have a file that you want to transfer. I do have a file that I have created in order to do the showcase. I have transferme.txt. It's just a small empty file. And if I just do put the name of the file, it's going to open up it's going to output what is going on. And in this case, it's uploading the file transfer me to the folder itself. It's usually these are bigger files, and there is a lot of space here. And it will tell you, oh, it's going to take 20 minutes, for example. And you will see the time here go up and go down over time. This is how you put in a file, but how do you download a file? You do put to put a file, and then you do get. .txt. You get a file. I can't call it simple, but it is pretty straightforward, just doing put in order to put a file and get in order to get a file. But what if I want to put a folder? Folders are a little bit tricky in the terminal simply because they require an extra flag. And we call flags things like -r. This is a flag, you can call it an option. And in order for you to put a folder, you'll have to do put -r, the name of the folder. The flag -r means recursive. And this is because ideally a folder is not empty. And it is necessary to put -r such that the server, the terminal itself understands that this is not a file, but a folder. So I already have the folder that I created just for testing. I can copy this and paste it here. And it really did it. It just took the folder and uploaded it to the server itself. In order to exit SFTP, you do exit. And then you're out. Congratulations. SFTP will be necessary, or it will be useful if you have data on your computer and that you want to put data on the server, and vice versa. But as I said earlier, many of you might be getting data from the internet somewhere. You might want to use a genome, for example, that already lives in NCBI, and there is no need to download the data on your computer and then move it onto the server. In order for you to download data, I don't know if I have to go into this much detail, but you will do wget on the server. I'm not going to showcase this now, but you will do this directly within the server inside your own data folder that you own. So now, for the medical students that will require a GUI in order to view your molecules, doing SSH, it's not, doing SSH is not the only thing that you will have to do. You will actually have to do tunneling, as I mentioned earlier. And in order for you to do tunneling, please exit your connection first. And type in SSH. The port number that you see here on the right, for example, for me is 5910. Localhost, again 5910. And then your username, user25 in this case, at the IP address. Copy. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I apologize. I'm missing a flag. As you can see, flags are a little bit important. The flag to announce that we are going to be doing tunneling in this case is -L. And so this is the full command, SSH-L, port, localhost, port, user number at IP address. And this is only for the medical students. I apologize for the old genomic students that do not require this. You click enter, and it will ask you for a password. So you copy your password, you paste, and you enter. This is, there's instructions for this every single time you connect to your virtual machine. So in case you forget how to do it, just log in with SSH, and it will show you how to log in every single time you log in through SSH. Do mind that if your number here is 5910, for example, if you have a 5910, there is an error here that says 010. Ignore the 0, it's just 5910. And now, once you're inside, you will require another software in order to connect to the GUI. This software is called the Real VNC. I do not know what VNC stands for, but it allows you to connect to the GUI of your server. I have already installed it. I apologize, I have not sent this earlier. I'm going to send this out now to the Slack. And you do not need to sign in or anything. It's just free. Just log in there. And this is the window that you're going to see. And in order to connect, you will have to put here the window that you want to connect to. To do so, it's written again in the instructions when you log in through SSH. So just copy this, go here, paste, click. It's going to ask you, hey, do you want to connect? Are you sure this is on an encrypted connection? This looks kind of funky. But you're going to continue through it. It's going to ask you for the password. You're going to go back to the VM info access, copy your password, paste your password. You can double check if you want, and click OK. And all of a sudden, it's going to connect you to the GUI. And in the GUI, this is basically a different server, sorry, a different desktop, a desktop within a desktop, if you may. And you can use it. This is a computer. You can open up the terminal inside the VNC window. You can type in any command that you require. For example, I know VMD requires for you to use the GUI. So I'm typing VMD and enter. And it will go through loading all the packages necessary, and all of a sudden you have VMD running. I don't know if you use VMD. I do not use VMD. I've never used it. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like this or not. It's a bit laggy. I apologize for that. This is not optimal. However, please do keep in mind that we are connecting through a VPN to the server itself. So this is a jump in connection and yet another jump. But if you are a little bit patient, VMD will run as you need. Yes, as Professor Travis here has said, you can install VMD on your own machine, and it sounds like that might be the best option for you out there. You can close this normally, and then you can connect to it again as long as you do the SSH tunneling beforehand. Now, I know that there might be some students which are a little bit behind. I'm here to help. I don't have anything else to showcase you. I showed you how to connect to your virtual machine. You might not need to. I've shown you how to do the SSH tunneling to get a GUI. You might not need to. If you're working on your own supercomputer or computer cluster or even your own computer and you need to run commands, I'm here to help. I'm here to help you install software, understand what's going on with error messages, and I hope you all will have a positive experience. So thank you very much, everyone. Best of luck.